today we had just a bad practice. Can happen. I'm not a bad coach, or I'm not a bad coach because we had a bad practice. Maybe I'm a bad coach and it's enough, but it's not because I miss one correction or miss one timeout. So when is the good age to be just a coach? When I will not be young? I will be 36, I will be 40. And what about if I will be 38, but with 9 years of experience? I'm still young, or I'm a good coach? I think that NBA first can let you learn where basketball is going, because at the end of the day, new ideas in Europe come from NBA. Most of new idea. Commit mistakes. Miss a shot. It's better to miss a shot but being decisive than being I will shoot or shoot it.
Hello coach, big thanks for joining my podcast. It's a great pleasure that you find time, and buonasera in Poland.
Dobry wieczór. Thank you first of all for the invitation. I'm learning Polish, quite difficult, but I'm getting there.
So how's your first weeks in Poland?
Great. Warsaw is very big. It seems very immediate, to say this, but I think it's quite a big change for me and my girlfriend, being here, really starting to get used to the city. Everything is very different, but it's a big challenge. The city is beautiful. We are enjoying even the weather, but we know that it's not going to be like this for...
Be prepared.
But okay, we are loving being here in these first 2 weeks. And then even working, the environment is great. We already started the preparation. The excitement of the players is there. Everything is going good. So very positive weeks.
And what you knew about Poland and Polish basketball before you signed a contract with Dziki?
For sure, my understanding was quite average, let's say. For sure you follow the teams of European Cups, watching Italian basketball, you can find some games. Then for sure, having a couple of years ago Alessandro Magro here in Poland, he opened the way even for me, to start approaching the league, watching results and understanding more or less the value. For sure was very important to me right after the sign of the contract, or in the moment in which I start to talk with Dziki, to watch a lot of games, to understand, it's very easy to understand, the physicality, the level of the contact, of the contacts are very different, in terms of toughness and again, bodies. The pace is slower than Italy and the top leagues, let's say, in Europe, that have a pace that is for sure higher. But then I've had the chance to watch some playoff games, even live, here in Warsaw and in Lublin. And the basket is pretty high level. I don't feel any kind of difference. At the end of the day, there are a good level of Polish players. You have 5 or 6 Americans that, help to raise up physicality and talent of the game. So I'm very happy to join this league.
You said that you watch some games after you know that you will come to Poland, but knowing that you're watching the team with different players, coached by different coach with different style, that was helpful?
For sure helpful to understand what could work and what could not work, or even to understand how I can adapt my ideas to the new league. Or just to understand, at the end of the day, every game you have the chance to watch 2 teams. Yeah. So to understand which could be the game plan, to understand which could be the go-to guys, which are the best players, to start getting used to Polish players that are, it's one thing that for sure for our scouting purposes I couldn't do in Italy. You don't scout Polish players, so let's say average Polish players, to bring them in Italy.
Yes.
It's a pretty weird transfer. So I would say watching every game is useful to steal something, to study something, or to try to adapt yourself faster to a different level.
And what are the biggest difference between Polish basketball and Italian basketball? You said about pace, but what else?
Yeah, for sure pace, for sure the ability of... I would say that talent-wise, you are almost there. It's not a great difference. Americans, for sure, you can find more talented guy in the... But I would say in EuroLeague teams. Okay, so for sure we had the chance to play in a championship in which you have Shavon Shields, you know, you have Cordinier, Shengelia, Mirotic, you know, those kind of players that rise up the level. Next year there will be Guduric, Lorenzo Brown, you know, those players that are pretty unique. The difference of the peak, you know, of the talent obviously is balanced in favor of Italy or top leagues. But again, in terms of basketball, in terms of readings, in terms of tactical preparation, I don't think there is so much difference. At the end of the day, you have, you know, 10 talented players, 2 baskets, there is a 3-point line, and everyone wants to win and play hard, you know. I don't think there is a completely different basketball at all.
And what happened that son of volleyball player fall in love in basketball in Kobe Bryant and Tyus Edney? Because from what I know, that was your background.
Yeah, okay, my dad was a volleyball player, but not at the highest level, you know, and I fall in love with basketball around 6 because my sister was playing basketball. She's older than me and she was pretty good, you know, and I was the kid that was running on the court, and the timeouts I was shooting by myself, you know. Then I fell in love with the NBA, and for sure having Kobe Bryant was my idol, you know, even in terms of mentality, his willingness to improve, to be there, to be consistent, you know. I try to steal, if we can say this word, you know, this kind of approach, and I liked it. And in Italy there was the time of there was the era of Benetton Treviso.
Yes.
So such an amazing team, amazing coaches, and I was watching in the Italian television on Saturday. They were putting on free television, the public television, half of the third and the fourth quarter of one game, and usually Treviso was playing there. And I remember Tyus Edney was one of the best point guards of that moment, even not only in Italy, if we're talking about Europe. And I liked how he was a floor general, his kind of personality, you know, and confidence. And then, you know, I was watching every game. I started playing basketball, then I stopped due to injuries, but you know, maybe was even better, you know, to stop playing and then start to coaching, because I'm feeling very good now.
We named some players that was your idols, but what about coaches? Who was like your favorite coaches growing up when you started thinking about being a coach?
It's easy to say, you know, if you are an Italian coach and you think about 10 years ago when I started, you know, for sure you have some monsters like Messina, Scariolo, you know, those coaches and those personalities are very, very important, you know. You can steal every time something, and their CV, I think, they speak by themselves. But there is even the new generation of coaches that to me is very interesting to watch, because you can steal a lot of new things, new trends are coming, and it's important to don't focus just on one coach, but even I enjoy watching EuroLeague or BCL to try to find, okay, I'm watching this team, I can steal this. So it's more about understanding which is the style of that coach to expect what you can steal, instead of saying, okay, I love this team and I keep watching this team. Because in our life, you have every time to think about next practice, but EuroLeague play, 8 games each 2 days. So maybe it's better to select than watching every time one team, because you lose a lot of opportunities to learn. So in the past years, I just think about, okay, what I can steal from this coach, what I can steal from this game, and I like to watch different kind of cultures.
And who shaped your basketball philosophy?
Great question. For sure, I will name 3 people. In Trieste, I worked with Eugenio Dalmasson for 6 years, and he was like my basketball father, let's say. He taught me really the important how to act like a coach, how to be a coach, how to take responsibility and don't be scared of that. But really, I was a young kid. I was 22 years old when I started being a coach, and I was in 2nd division in Italy. And really, I owe him a lot, because I was not for him just a young guy, but he gave me, do it. Yeah. And it's not for, you cannot take it for granted that one coach with experience and CV tell you, okay, you are young, but maybe talented, but you never know. Go. For sure one. For sure another one very, very important for me, even personally, is Alessandro Magro, that we named before. We spent great time national team, under 20. We have fun together, like being even man to man, having the possibility to learn, to ask. For sure is one of the best Italian coaches right now, and even more a great person, And then the third one, I loved to work with him in the past months was Castritis in Varese. Completely different background. Amazing person. So I really loved to work with him. And in Varese, in the past 3-4 months, we built something different, and he came in such a difficult moment because we were in the bottom of the standing, and he changed completely the momentum of the season. But even more, it's not about just rules that you put on the court. If you are through as a people, as a person, if you are genuine, okay, if you say something and you really believe it, people will follow you. So having the pleasure to work with such a great person was to me a blessing, let's say. I was very, very happy, and I stole a lot of things from him. We are in touch, like basically every day.
And looking from today's perspective, do you feel you were ready to become a head coach when you received offer from Trieste?
But I think, even I didn't ask to myself this question, because put in the shoes of one young coach, I've been there 8th season, and I started like the PC guy, like all day long like this, then assistant, then first assistant, then head coach. This is one of those trains that you need to take.
Yes.
Even if I'm not ready, I'm going to take it, I think that I learn a lot. I think that now, even after 3 years, I'm a completely different coach and person. The experience was such an amazing experience. I think that we didn't deserve the relegation, but at the end of the day, the court speaks, and it's not about complaining or a lot of things happened over there, but now is the past. I had such a good group of people, such a good two good assistants. So Massimo Maffezzoli and Andrea Vicenzuto, and now are working in Strasburgo and in Tortona. And we were ready together, to balance pros and cons of each of us. At the end of the day, we are human. Sometimes you need just to be a little bit lucky, to one ball that goes in and out can change your future, Now I'm glad that ball that fall out brought me to Dziki at the end, or in this next step of my career.
When I was doing research to interview, I found one of your interviews, I think with Repubblica, when you were a coach of Trieste, and you said that you are like very satisfied, you are happy that this 10 years of being assistant did not went for nothing.
For sure, I think that the ability to be consistent, to resist in some situation, even if you don't like, or even if it's hurting you, can make you better at the end of the day. Then obviously you need to understand how much those things impact your personal life and you as a human being. But I think if you can steal something out of every situation, at the end of the day you are better, you know. And this is what the reason why I work for. You know, at the end of the day, you work to be better as a man and as a coach. I think that even in difficult years, I remember a couple of in Trieste years, even the past 2 years in Varese were quite tough in terms of result, but helped me a lot to improve, to meet new people, to meet new minds, to understand that what I was thinking till that moment, maybe, okay, I was thinking blue, but maybe could be even red. It's not wrong, it's just different, okay? And this, I think, made me better or made me different, and I appreciate that experience. So I'm part of the process is really every time trying to think what could be behind just, okay, that's a bad result, yes, by what I learned during the process, you know.
And do you have like maybe game, month or season that makes, that you started feeling, okay, now I'm a basketball coach? Like in terms of basketball, the transformation from boy to man.
That's great. Now I have to go back with the memory card, but that's great. I would say that one of the biggest moments to me was my third year as assistant in Trieste. We were in second division and we got the promotion in first division. And that was a moment in which the ownership changed. And to me was a game changer in terms of, okay, am I a student that is enjoying basketball like an assistant, or maybe could I do it as a
full-time?
Exactly, you know. So since I got the graduation, that was the year. So I started to think even economically, you know, at the end of the day, you are getting 26, 27, you need to understand what you want to do in your life. It's not,
but just sorry to interrupt, you did like you have a degree in economics, not in
right.
like sports.
No. Because in Trieste, in my city, you have not that area. You need to go, let's say, 100 kilometers far. But I was already coaching in Trieste, and I wasn't a big fan of online university. So I chose another area that I still enjoyed, you know, my process. But I prefer to keep coaching because it was my passion, you know. So to answer to your question, that moment was a game changer. Then for sure, couple of games in terms of couple of memories in terms of wins. First win and first league as a head coach. Then the year before, the head coach I had was sick, and that was my first game as a head coach in first division. We won away, or winning at home, you know, against Virtus Bologna, you know. Or I remember my first game in Milan, and on the other bench was Ettore Messina. You say, really? Okay, I remember perfectly that moment, you know, the tip-off was in Milan. They just played, I think, with, Fenerbahce 2 days before. So 2 days after was Milano Trieste. So the gym was not, let's say, crowded, okay? So it was silence, a tip-off. A lot of people were popcorn just sitting, you know, like this, and silence. So I was, wow. No, that moment, I kept this moment with me. So more moments were like enjoying some jokes with the staff. I love to be with very close, very connected with the staff. So a lot of memories, even in Varese. 2 years ago, FIBA Euro Cup process, arriving till the semi-final, playing Fenerbahce Arena. A lot of things.
And what is the biggest misconception about the head coaching job? What was like the biggest myth that you busted after you became a head coach? Because many coaches told me the story. When I was assistant, I wasn't fully aware what it's like to be a head coach, because assistants like somehow protected by head coach. They've got like all the blame. And what about you? What shocked you the most when you became a head coach?
Another great one. I would say, in a very polite way, I wasn't shocked by something. For sure, what changed a lot is, first, I was head coach just in my own hometown. So the level of the pressure, my personal pressure, was completely different. Because when you coach, even in a small city, everyone knows you. So if you lose one game, if you win one game, it's different, That was my chance. So even the pressure to be one young coach into maybe now it's starting to be different, but it was like an old school country, So I felt even the pressure, let's say, to be, maybe I can be the guy that changed things for the other coaches. Maybe, no, for sure there are other Italian coaches way better than me, but they just didn't have the chance to coach.
Yeah.
And so I hoped, even for them, being at the same age, having a lot of friends, maybe we can change things, Now it's a little bit different. But then again, this was the biggest difference to me, is how do you feel after a win and a loss? I was talking with Massimiliano Menetti, that now was assistant of Trinchieri in Žalgiris, so head coach in Italy, Israel, so many years. Great person too. We were at dinner together, and he told me this. He told me, winning for me is not a real joy and satisfaction, but is a relief.
Yeah.
And that's, for one side, is a bad thing, because really you can understand how a head coach feels. I'm feeling, if I win, president will be happy. Journalists will talk good, let's say, about me. Fans will be happy. So I will be happy because I don't have to think how I have to talk with the team. My assistant will be happy because the post-game video will be like a regular video. Yeah. So one ball that goes in and out can change your girlfriend or wife will be happy because she can talk to you right after the game and not after 2 hours. Yeah. So dealing with then, we are joking a bit, but there is inside all of those aspects. Then I think that each of us choose the percentage. There are coaches that you cannot talk to for one day. There are coaches that after 2 minutes turn page. But really, this was how I felt like I was feeling. After a win or a loss. This was the biggest thing to experience, I would say.
But you say the interesting thing about this relief aspect, because I spoke with many athletes who are like Olympic medalists or world champions in volleyball, in basketball, and many of them said that after the last ball or the final, there wasn't like happy. They felt relief, or all the pressure went gone.
I can understand. For sure, we are putting our life into our job, So for sure, there is pressure. We are working like professionals, and you are paid to do this, and you are paid to get, at the end of the day, result. Yes. Okay, you can be happy. You can be luckier to be in an organization that is focused like growth and process. But at the end of the day, there is no growth and process if somehow you cannot find a way to get results. Okay, you cannot be sustainable without results, at least in a medium to short term. Okay, so I can feel what does it mean, the joy, the relief to say, okay, I've worked so much, now is the time to breathe a bit. Even I think every time to the sprinter, 100 meters, for example, you practice, let's say, Olympic Games. Every day, so 1,500 days for 10 seconds of your life. This is to me the biggest example, or, maybe jumping could be another one, but for this.
Yeah.
And then maybe you have the red flag start, you know, you are out. And there is no tomorrow, you know, so I can feel what does it mean.
And it's easy for you to like separate this basketball emotions with like private life emotions. Like, are you type of person who come to home and can completely like cut all these bad things in front of parents or girlfriend?
I think you need to ask to my family. I like to say that I'm getting better. I'm thinking that just thinking about the work, the job, it's not sustainable, okay? Then life sometimes presents you the bill. And that moment is way, way heavier than one loss, you know? So a lot of time, but not enough to me. We are talking about mental health. And this has to be part of our job, you know, part of our awareness, to be conscious that there is a limit. Then doesn't mean that, you know, I come here, I have practice at 5, I come here 4:30, at 7:30 I'm out. We will be here working since 9 a.m., okay? Because there is a lot of work that needs to be done and we need to grow up. But from the other side, if you push, there will be one moment in which the wall is going just to break. It's not going to become more solid, you know. So part of my job, our job as a staff, is even my job with the staff is trying to understand, okay, I push maybe too much today, now I need to, and then there is the job that I need to do with myself. Maybe sometimes I'm very critical with myself, even too much, but maybe it's okay, today we had just a bad practice. Can happen. I'm not a bad coach, or I'm not a bad coach because we had a bad practice. Maybe I'm a bad coach and it's enough, you know? But it's not because I miss one correction or miss one timeout. I'm a bad coach, a bad person. Okay, I commit my mistake. Okay, let's work to not make it happen again, you know? So it's still a process. I have still room to improve a lot, but you know, for sure we need to find joy something else. I love to coach. I love coaching. I love. But I cannot be just a coach, you know. Even from the other side, for people that are close to me, my girlfriend is coming from Italy here, moving, and I cannot be just Dziki coach. You know, I need to be close to her. You know, I need to be supportive as much she is supportive towards me. I need to be in contact with my family. You know, if not, if it becomes just I'm working, this journey doesn't make any sense. You know, you have the happiness of the moment you win, amazing, but then what you have in your hands, you know, if you are not able to share these experiences and even to enjoy outside of the court, you know.
Yeah, we talk a lot as a sport community about the athletes' mental health, but I've never asked and never spoke about this with coaches, about the coaches' mental health. Because, for example, many people say that coach job is not just to be a coach, but also to be a psychologist to like 12 or 14 players. Because many like players who turn to be coaches told me, okay, when I was a coach, I was responsible for myself. You know, I came for practice, did practice, came home, PlayStation or something like that. And when you are a coach, okay, you call me, as you said, you call me Ariel because you're doing, I don't know, some video stuff, analysis, etc. You have a practice, you have like individual speeches, and after that you're coming to home, and at home you're thinking about your 12 players.
Yeah, but I think even if you are not able to be your own psychologist, how you are, and so your mental health is good, how you are going to be able to think about other people. And so more important is, if you are not able to be good, to stay healthy, okay, you don't find answer or enough tools to be good, to feel good, you need help. And I think that our job, even being young in the new generation, is to talk about this, and there is no shame to have a pathway with one expert. At the end of the day, I made a couple of works, and I think it's very useful. It's very useful to understand, even sometimes even raising up your hands and say, okay, this is too much. I cannot do it by myself. I need someone. Coach life is very demanding. And as you said, you finish practice, you need to prepare the next practice. You finish the game, you need to prepare the next one. And then there are president calling you. Then there is journalists. Then there is this. Then there is your family. Then every day. So finding situation that can help you to breathe is fundamental. If not, you cannot sustain this level of pressure. But for sure, being you cannot help the others if you are not aware of this thing. So first process is this: I need to be aware of who I am. I need to be aware of what are my weaknesses, how I should act to solve, not to solve, but to live better with my personality. I cannot change myself, but I can try to, improve. But then part of being a coach, maybe the best part is even helping others to grow up and to reach their potential, But for sure, I think we don't talk enough about this, and even clubs are so much result oriented, like let's talk in general, that as you said, players, what I should do to help players, what I should do to provide a better thing for players, yes, but what about the staff? If the staff is not healthy, they are not going to be able to bring the team where we want, So creating a culture in which, we want to push, but we want to be sustainable. If you are not going to make it, we will find a way to, maybe this video is going to be assistant coach, helping, please. Now you have your, it's like living with your wife, let's say, sometimes you have 70% of energy and your wife 30, so the most important thing at the end of the day, you fix it up and there is 100 over there, And in the low days, so low energy, if we have a good relationship, we are going to resist. Then we'll be, again, we balance, I cannot ask for the staff or the players that everyone is 100% every day. Impossible, no? But if the culture is healthy, we're gonna make it, we're gonna resist, we're gonna survive, And Sun, hopefully, is going to get out again, hopefully.
And going back to basketball, how would you describe your time in Varese? Because Varese is now well known because of sport director Luis Scola, and how was like to work with him? Luis is way more, I would say, than a sports director in terms of being CEO, not GM, but he's a very important person, over there. Was a great challenge to work with him, because in terms of personality, you are talking to one of the best players of all time, As I said in our podcast, he's obsessed by basketball, and you cannot appreciate this thing about him. You truly you can really see his passion about basketball and his obsession in terms of, we need to coach young guys, I will take care of that. I can push them to another level. I can teach them this. I can teach them this, So for sure, his knowledge of the game and his passion of the game and his personality are elite level, So was such a big challenge trying to match this level, match the request, and even in terms of ideas. At the end of the day, he played so many years, so many games in NBA, Olympics, so for sure we are talking to a brilliant mind. And for sure Varese tried to bring, a system in which analytics, fast pace, modern basketball, NBA ideas, but even running the club like this. So it was such a good experience to, even if the results were not there for a lot of reasons, I learned a lot.
thanks to Luis, thanks to Varese, thanks to the whole organization, and even was in my CV, in my memories, in my career. I worked 2 years with him, and helped me. This is the most important thing inside this journey.
And outside the court, he's easy to contact?
Outside the court, it's for sure it's a person that you can talk with, but even being there were some dinners all together, he's a very enjoyable person when you are at a table. But at the end of the day, he has to manage the whole club, really thinks about basketball a lot. Big family, a lot of things. Even he's not focusing only about basketball. He has his own stuff. Sometimes he was traveling US, Argentina. So, we were traveling too. So we spend a lot of time together in the away trips, for example, or seeing each other around at the arena, during practices. But really, the rhythm, especially when you are in first league and you have cups, you don't have a lot of time even to stay with your own girlfriend, So if I need to choose, I would stay with my girlfriend. But it was a good time.
But when I looked at the roster of Varese during your time, correct me if I'm wrong, there was Mitro Long, there was Tajus, there was Kiefer Sykes, former player of Legia, and one guy that I want to ask specifically, Nico Mannion. I mean, he alongside Paiola, Matteo Spagnolo, Procida is considered as like the next key player of the Italian basketball. He's now like making good numbers. He had this experience in NBA. And tell me about this player. How he is. How was like to work with him?
No, it was great. Nico is a good guy. He's very smart. I think that being so young, he's a pretty unique because he made such many experiences. If you're talking about NBA, national team, in important games too, not like a bench player, EuroLeague and different teams, and even if he wasn't so much involved, working at that level, make you grow up, because at the end of the day you see different coaches, how you prepare a game, different approaches, living in different countries. So he's pretty young, but you are talking to a mature guy, smart. He really understands the game. I used to joke with him like he has the bike on his, the motorbike in his legs, because when he wants to get downhill, you cannot stop him because he has a great motor. He helped us a lot in the first year, 2 years ago to save the league. He changed completely the team. And then I think he's pretty unique because he can link the modern style of basketball being American, from that culture, but even being very, very, fitting very good into European basketball. So having those two aspects and being able to shift between those situations, making pretty unique combo scorer, point guard sometimes, was great. Was great to coach him, because at the end of the day, we learn from players. We learn moves, we understand how they feel in the game, what they are looking. And when you had the chance to have high-level players, you put on the table before Tajus. Tajus now is 38, 39, but in terms of defense, in terms of how to roll, how to space on the court, he's a textbook. So one word of Tajus is better than 200 of books, so you're talking to a legend in terms of EuroLeague, he won the EuroLeague, so I stole a lot of details, from them.
And I named some Italian players, these young players, and do you think they are like developing themselves as much as people expected? For example, Spagnolo, because many people saw in Spagnolo like next NBA guy who was drafted in NBA. Do you think that the guys like him, like Paiola, for example, who also, you know, as a young player, he started playing in Virtus, they are developing, these young girls, developing themselves as good as like people thinking?
I think it's a matter of time. I think that the growth of Paiola is still happening, you know, he has still room for improvements. For sure, we are talking about one guy that is an elite defender. But now I can see his growth in the last 3-4 years, you know, as a frame. You cannot just tell to your players, maybe you are playing against Virtus Bologna, okay, this guy is just a defender, you know, he's able to pass the ball, he's able, you know, he worked with Teodosic, he played with Teodosic, you know, he's able to have some connection with Bellinelli, he's able to pass the ball, he's able to attack downhill, he's able to shoot, you know, they are developing. Spaniolo to me is such a good player, and it's a matter of playing time opportunity, you know. Is a matter of having the chance to commit mistakes. Is a matter of having the chance to stay in the game in the important moments, you know. So he's still 22. Yeah. Then we can say, yes, 22, you can be old, and we can keep talking about those things. Yes, in 20 years ago, or Luka Doncic play at 16. Great. How many like Luka Doncic we found in the last 6 years? How many? I don't know. We can stay here thinking about it, you know. But for this moment, having 22 years old, you are young for one reason that, again, is related to results. We have no trust, you know, for young guys. But what does it mean being young? And then at the end of the day, you come back, and even I'm so grateful to Dziki, you know, because they risk with me, for example, you know, we are looking for a young coach, but with experience. If he's young, it's very difficult to give a chance to him. We were talking about before 2 young Italian coaches. How these coaches, I was lucky because one guy, one manager gave me the chance to. I had 1 year of experience, okay? I had 29 years old, so unique, let's say, for sure in Italy, okay? But if we don't give to young coaches or young players the possibility to miss, how they will be ready to be at 26, 27 in their prime, ready to play. And then we will blame on them because you are not ready. And we will find other players, but you didn't let them play. So again, these circles, you cannot escape from this circle.
Yes. But when I look at most of interview you gave, the subject, the topic of your age was like common, like almost many interviews. It's like, and does this annoy you?
I can understand the question. Okay, I can understand. The thing that every time I answer is I don't want to be judged as a young coach. You know, I want to be judged as a coach. So if I will miss, for sure I have not the experience of a coach that has 20 years of career, 15 years of career, okay? But I think that even a coach of 15, with 15 years and thousands of games can commit mistakes, right? So I will commit mistakes, for sure. I can sign now the paper, I don't know how many, but it's annoying me is the fact like, okay, he's a young coach, he commit this mistake because he has no experience.
Stereotype.
That's a fact. That's true. I know. Everyone knows. It's great. But let's judge me like I'm a coach. Why we should every time look at okay, he's 33. And so when is the good age to be just a coach? When I will not be young? I will be 36. I will be 40. And what about if I will be 38, but with 9 years of experience? I'm still young or I'm a good coach? So these things has to me no sense, you know? So I will commit mistakes? Yes. Am I a good coach, bad coach? It's not my job to tell. You will judge. Perfect. This is part of the game. I know. We will lose one game, I will be a bad coach. We will win one game, I will be a good coach. Even more will be thanks to the team. I accept this. This is my job. I know. But it's not that because we will lose one game with a bad timeout, he's young. This is to me what doesn't make any sense, okay?
But funny thing, in Poland there is Andrzej Urban, a coach of Stal Ostrów, who is just 1 year older than you, and he's already, I think, 3 seasons of experience, and for most of the time, yeah, he was considered young, but after you came, he stopped being old, and he's just 1 year older than you.
So that's the, but I understand, you know, even culturally, Italy is struggling, you know, to make this change, but really I can understand one ownership, one group of investors that need to put, you know, at the end of the day, it's like the poker table, no? You need to put the fish here or here. The CV looks better, let's go here. You know, when you put money, I can understand. So even I spoke so many times, with the president. I'm so grateful. This is an opportunity that in Italy it's not so common to get, for sure, in first league. Why I got it? I was good to work in Trieste. You know, I earned that possibility. But at the end of the day, I was lucky to be there in the right moment, in the right place. And my manager, Mario Ghiacci, gave me the chance to. But how many managers gave the situation? There is one Italian coach now in Treviso. This is Alessandro Rossi, that just won the medal with under 20 national team. Okay, great coach, great person. We were together in the staff with Alessandro Magro. He's considered young in first team because he coached 1 season part of in Scafati. It was a bad start. Even he won the year before second division. He started coaching in first division. I don't remember 6-7 games. He was fired. He just won the second division. He was fired. Then he earned the possibility to be again called because he made such an amazing season. Yes, finally we have a young coach so he's 40, around 40. He just won the medal of under 20 and he will have 15 years of experience. Why we should judge the identity card? This is to me what has no sense. Then that's the game. I accept it. Let's move forward. You know, I cannot do anything else.
And do you think Italian coaches like to go work abroad? When I spoke with Coach Magro in my podcast, he said Poland was the sliding doors of my career.
That's a great point. I would tell, to me, Magro for sure, you know, opened the door. If we don't think about Messina, Scariolo in terms, okay, maybe they are too high, you know. Even Magro made great move coming here, then coming back to Italy, and now he's one of the best Italian coaches. Now we cannot put on the table Tabellini, you know, then Praga, Nymburk, Paris, you know. So for sure, things are changing very, very slowly. But I think that we don't have the mentality to approach in a very open way to, okay, moving abroad. The country is still having a big change. So many foreign coaches now are going to Italy. If I'm not wrong, you know, last season I think there were some 8 or 9 foreign coaches. This season 6 or 7, you know. But Italian coaches are without job, you know. So we are complaining a bit in terms of saying, instead of saying maybe, okay, abroad coaching, coaches from abroad are coming, maybe I should do the same. You know, so I did it even with this purpose to try it's like a Formula 1, the pit stop. You know, maybe you cheat a bit going to the pit stop before of the others to don't be, because then if everyone moves, it's like no one moves. You know, but in my case it was even a personal opportunity, you know, to experience something different, like life-wise, having the chance to live in Warsaw. This was a turning point for me. having the chance to come here with my girlfriend in Warsaw, living such a different thing, being again head coach. How you can say no to those things together. But culturally we're not so hungry maybe to, yes, I want to be again coach, but you need to go in Poland, you need to go in Hungary maybe. I will stay here as assistant.
Yeah.
Now good coaches are coming from abroad. So I'm curious about the reaction, of the coaches about this thing.
And also one thing, I don't want to offend you or any other Italian coaches, but from my experience with the older ones, I always have trouble with communicating because they didn't know English well.
Okay,
now this is changing because the young ones come, the young ones start learning English as a kids, and these guys, older guys, I don't think they learn English as a kids. They started, as adults. So
yeah, even culture is very different. If you think maybe when they start their own career, there were just 2 foreign players, or maybe if you coach in second division, you have just 1 or 2. Or even more, I would say 15 to 20 years ago, the foreign players needed to learn Italian.
Yes.
Was not the opposite. Or if you think how is working ACB, Spanish coaches are talking Spanish, and it's up to the players to understand.
Yeah.
I don't know, like in details, if everyone or something, but if you watch EuroLeague, you can feel a lot of timeout. You can listen to a lot of timeouts in Spanish. But yes, for sure, the limitation of language is another thing that could impact, could be a factor.
And we talked earlier about who shaped your basketball style, but what is style of coaching of Marco Legovicha? Because you said that in Varese you were like modern style of volleyball, basketball, very American. Do you like this style?
Great. So let's say my year as a head coach in Trieste will be very different, I hope, from what we will see in Dziki. For sure, there will be a lot of aspects that I will take out of Varese. There will be a lot of aspects that I will take out of Castriti's influence. There will be a lot of aspects that will be just new trends in modern basketball that I didn't experience, but I want to put inside. I think that there is a big value in modern basketball. I think there is a big value in old school if you find the right mix. I'm not a huge fan of 100% modern, and let's forget how to play. Sometimes even seems that calling a double-like pick and roll, doing just this, seems like the card needs to be broken. So I will try to find a compromise in some situation I like. For example, low post to me has value, but there will be some players that I would not pass the ball or even think to pass the ball to them in low post because it's not effective. So the approach will be, for sure, we want to increase the number of possessions. We want to play fast. We want to play in transition, but we want to play in transition out of defense. A lot of times thinking about, I want to play fast with the next play mentality is, okay, they score, I don't care. I will go in offense, we're playing fast, we are going to shoot 43s per game and we're going to win. This is suicide. So being very demanding with the team, with not so many rules, because if the game is going faster, you cannot ask thousands of rules, because speed reduces the precision. So we need to accept some turnovers more, because we want to push. But on the other side, on defense, we want to be super aggressive, running. But instead of putting rules, I want to put physicality. I want to put switching defense. I want to focus about, okay, let's secure the rebound first, and then we run. So I'm trying to adapt, thinking about what could be a good mix, and what are the new trends of basketball, because numbers are justifying some choices, okay? pull-up twos, efficiency of threes, offensive rebounding, are facts. Then you can like it or not, but are facts. Why we should not run into this pathway, instead of saying, no, we will play 60 possession because I love to play till the shot clock expire. I would not love to play like this, but I respect would play like this, The compromise, the balance, it's very important to me.
And do you said a little bit about this, but do you like the way basketball evolved in recent years, decades? I mean, especially influence of America and Golden State Warriors, that everybody wants to shoot free, and they, at the second side you had guys like Greg Popovich, who wasn't a huge fan of threes. What are your thoughts about this?
Honestly, I don't like where basketball is going. I like to understand why it's going like this. I like the coherency that is behind it. One guy can like or not the fact, one fan can like or not the fact that, most common sentence is, they are shooting just threes, I'm going to put volleyball, okay? But are you understanding why they shoot threes? Are you understanding how they create those threes? Then NBA sometimes is exaggerating, and even they are coming a little bit back, backward. So for sure, I was, let's say, Tim Duncan. Amazing player. I love him. Amazing player. He would make the difference even now in modern basketball. But now there are not too many Tim Duncan. So we cannot play in the same way. And at the end of the day, players, bodies, physicalities, studies are setting one trend. So I don't think there is any value to keep going into the wall like this, bam, 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 if there is the door open here. So to me, it's not a matter of, yes, basketball is bad because they are shooting threes. Is why? Explain to players why we want to do this and why not. How? Numbers. Numbers are saying this. The most common thing is, coach, don't bring away from my game this shot. Could be low post, could be pull-up twos, could be even threes of the dribble. This is my shot. Okay, you go on our softwares, you check numbers, efficiency is bad. So I'm very happy that you feel that this is your shot, but in the last 3 years, this is your number. So when you shoot off the dribble three, maybe you have 1 point per shot, less, 0.8 point per shot. When you shoot catch and shoot, you have 1.2. Why we should look for those shots if you are way more effective, So inside our playstyle, we will try to maximize the efficiency of each shot, of each player. This will be the domino game.
And the word that you speak a lot during this interview is numbers. And are you the fan of the statistics and numbers in basketball? Because generally in basketball, in volleyball, I met some other coaches who said that, to be honest, I don't like the statistics and numbers because I have failing. And where is the balance between having a numbers who are there is this evidence, you clearly see numbers showing, and balance between this and this feeling you making by experience.
Great. Varese helped me a lot to understand those numbers, because at the end of the day, NBA brought this knowledge. Morey brought this thing. I'm a huge fan of watching numbers and taking decision driven by numbers, but not only. It's okay, numbers are saying this, but if I think that this choice could not adapt very good to my team, I don't want to be like robot, some numbers say this, we will do this. I think that there is even I don't want to lose even a bit of fun to play with my feeling as a human being. Now we are in an era of AI where it's solving every problem. So now we should arrive, I think we could arrive very soon to one guy that will have the idea to put, let's prepare me the game plan to play against Dziki. And I think maybe we can do it, even for joke, you know? I think that keeping with us a part of instinct, a part of feeling, it's life. It's life. If not becomes really numbers, we do this we do this we do this, I think it's too much. But going into a deeper analysis with numbers gave you the big picture. You know, okay, that's the situation with the numbers. What's my feeling? Even usually when I start watching one game, I never watch numbers before. I want to see that thing. I watch 4 or 5 games per opponent. I will say, okay, I need to check offensive rebound percentage. I need to check this. I need to check this. And then even you can challenge yourself. Okay, I was good enough. This was good. Here I was wrong. But I want to start from the feeling in the scouting process for players, from playing against teams. First I'm going to watch the player. First I'm going to watch the game. Numbers combined.
And what the coach of like Polish league team or lower leagues can learn from NBA, knowing that there is like another league, another level, another space, even planet of basketball with terms of style, rules, budget, because a few years ago I spoke with Gundar Svetra. He was the first Latvian in NBA. He was a world champion with Soviet Union, and he was a coach in Poland, Polish women team. And he said that I'm often talking to girls and to myself that if you want to watch the show, watch NBA. If you want to learn as a player and watch real basketball, to run for EuroLeague.
With great respect, I don't agree completely. I'm a huge fan of EuroLeague. If I need to choose, will be EuroLeague, even close eyes, EuroLeague. No game, but this is my opinion. I think that NBA first can let you learn where basketball is going, because at the end of the day, new ideas in Europe come from NBA. Most of new idea. Second, you can learn individual moves. So if you're talking about individual development, you must watch NBA, because all their footwork is huge part of player development, not the only part. Again, we can say modern basketball, NBA, old school Europe. Is not that you cannot learn from old school. Yes, even Europe you can watch elite players, you know. But I think that the level of footwork could be higher. Obviously, you need to understand that the physicality there cannot be translated in. This is for sure. But I think that in terms of learning where basketball will go, you need to understand NBA. You need to understand which are their ideas. Then maybe we are not going to do it. But even if I need to teach fundamentals to kids, I need to understand where basketball is going. Because if now I teach to one kid to do the end-off like this, like I did 20 years ago, like this, protected, we're teaching them one basketball that they will not find. And even one kid with, 13 years old kid, okay? Before to come into the pros, there are 7 years. How much basketball will change in those 7 years? So you are teaching him concepts of 15 years ago. Some concepts are still good. Some concepts are just old school. To him, he will have 7 years more of basketball. So you are talking about 20 years before. And then he will be in first league, he will say, DHO, great, boom. What they are doing, you know? I think there is value to understand. Now, I give you one example. Ghost screens. everyone is playing ghost screens. Where where did we go to take ghost screens? Who are the first teams that play this? Or a lot of ideas, a lot. Then we can say, am I enjoying watching NBA? Personally, no, I don't. I love the EuroLeague, but am I saying it's not useful to watch NBA? I don't think so.
And coming to the end, let's talk about a little bit more about the Dziki, about this current roster, this season roster. How much you were involved in these signings? It was like your choices or President Michał choices approved by you?
No, great question, because you gave me the chance to say one positive but real thing. I had the blank paper, so to manage the scouting process. So we put a culture in terms of process, in terms of what does it mean for Dziki scouting, how we work, which are the areas. So assistant coaches, we have one scout that help us with numbers, for sure GM, Michał, we have Rafał, let's stay with us, but was a common discussion. And President, since day one, told me we can talk about everything, but last decision will be your decision, because you need to coach players. So it was a common process with communication every 20 minutes, I would say. But I really appreciate the level of trust. Everything was justified, of numbers, of big picture. We want to play in this way, so this player can fit. And even when you are making, but for everything, I would say, it's not making the market just for Poland. In Italy is the same. The blanket is every time short on one side. So you know that if you need more defense on this player, maybe you need to give up a bit of three-point shooting. But the physicality is huge. If you want to have, great perimeter shooting, three-point shooters, maybe you have to give up something in terms of money. Maybe you have one more expensive player, you need one bet. So we made choices justified and I feel very coherent to a big picture. I don't know if right or wrong, but I feel that we built the best team we could, and I feel that our players are the best. We have this kind of group and we need to maximize the pros of each of them.
And how the fact that you also will play in NBL change your plans, or change your plans for the building the team?
Mm-hmm. For sure, we think about the deepness of the team. So
sorry, it's also first time for you as a head coach of managing a team, playing competitions.
Sure. It changed in terms of deepness. No, for sure, we went immediately to 6+6 to manage all those things. I've seen the schedule. Even is very tricky for me. I'm not used to play in Poland Thursday to Sunday, and NBL is Monday, Tuesday. So if you see the schedule, can be Thursday, then is Monday, then is Saturday, then is Tuesday. In Italy, we play Saturday and Sunday. It's much easier even to deal with your life. Weekend is coming, I'm playing the game. Then if I play the cup, I play Wednesday. Here is every week is completely different. So the work of the staff is every week you need to think about the microcycles. So 2 games here, 1 game, okay, but maybe it's 1 game in 8 days, where I should give days off. Load, high, low, Yeah. So it's another challenge. I think even NBL is growing up super fast in terms of teams. If I see the teams this season, the past season, to me the level is growing. The competition is nice in terms of this Champions League football format. Yes. So even another more reason to come here, to have the chance to be even a cup coach, having this experience. Great, we are very, very excited.
And what are your thoughts about the current rules when it comes to the foreigners on the court? Because until this season there is a changing. Before you have to play with just one Polish player on the court. There was even the times when the Polish players had to play on the court, and many people said that these guys earn much bigger money that they deserve because of the passport. And now we have like this revolution also, like from what I know, the league want to benefit the teams that playing with the young players. And what are your thoughts about this? But knowing also that, okay, one thing is like the interest of the club, but also these rules about the domestic players was like to benefit the national team future.
Sure. I think that being just for a second selfish, I'm very happy.
Yeah.
Because coming into another country without understanding the league, being without having the perfect knowledge of the players, and even more dealing with this rule, I had in my mind the example of the fourth quarter. What happened if you have just one very good player, like Polish player, just one, other team will target this player to send him out for fouls, all those snowballs. So even could be very tough for me to read and react immediately. Okay, now I should put one Polish, but I need to sub the center, not in the same role, so very difficult. I would say that personally will be a bit different in terms of this. I don't care about this rule in terms, okay, now I don't have this rule, so I will play with Americans. We took a couple of important players for the league, for our level, I think. And I want to give credit to, I don't make any kind of difference. For sure, I don't think that everyone is the same in terms of hierarchies, Everyone is the same in terms of rules, respecting each other, but then there will be players that are going to be playing 30 minutes and players are going to play 5. This is life. This is some players will earn more money, some players will earn less money. This is professional basketball. But I think that Polish player now will be pushed to earn minutes. I don't think it's going to change a lot economically. I think for sure there 1 or 2 years to adapt to the new rule, but I don't think will be a game changer like, okay, Polish player now will earn less money. I don't think so, or at least not such a big change. Because at the end of the day, still exist the rules of 5+5, 6+6. And this is even another way to protect player. So for sure, less heavy inside the system. But for sure, if one player you are offering him X, is not that is going to accept this, because if not, he's not going to find another team. Would be different if you open the borders and you say, okay, play it with 12 players, can be Americans, Brazilian, Polish, Italian, whatever, I don't care. There will be the revolution, but I don't think there is any sense or there will be the answer to this. I would think the prices will adjust a bit, but will not be a game changer. And at the end of the day, good players are going to play. Bad players, let's say, or average players, are going to struggle a bit. But this is being professionals, inside a team.
We said that you are a young coach, but what are your thoughts about the young players? Where is how to, as a coach, not as a young coach, as a coach, as I said, keep the balance between playing with the best squad possible, fighting for like scoring as much points as you can to win as many games as you want, with giving the chance to younger guys that they need. You as a young coach know what it's like to fighting for this chance, and these guys they are like you but just players.
Great. First is no gifts. As for me, no one give me anything. So if this guy will deserve to play, he will play. Because it means that he can give more than the older guy, let's say. Second is to me to make very sure that he is aware of his role into the court. And this doesn't mean that he needs to be the guy that is going to catch it and pass it because you are the young guy. No, you have to be a player, a player. So does it mean that if you are open, shoot it? If inside your, we have Krzysztof Kempa that is a prospect,
Yes.
in Polish basketball, and for sure we want to push him and to develop him, even watch his development in a completely new level, For sure for him, NBL could be important, to have more minutes, but very easy. He's not going to play if he's not going to defense. He's not going to play if he's not going to get rebounds. But the most important thing, I cannot put the pressure of Kempa. Hey, you need to score 10 points. You need to score this. You need to do this. You need to do this. You can make mistake if the effort is there. So let's start with this bar, with this standard. If you are playing below this level, you will not step into the court. If you match this level, commit mistakes. Miss a shot. It's better to miss a shot but being decisive than being I will shoot or shoot it. Being young is a good thing. Have the good face. Okay, I'm young, I want to shoot the shot. If it's a good shot, shoot it. But the attitude has to be there. The process is, okay, I'm going to come here every day to earn my spot. With highs and lows. But this is what I want to create. It's about him. It's about being able to use the opportunity that he will have. And he's about to resist in a completely different, it's like being in the sea and then you go to the ocean. There are some times in which ocean is the big wave and you cannot breathe. And then you are breathing and another wave is coming. So if he will be good enough, if we will be good enough to support him, he can grow up for sure. If at the first mistake about playing mistake, like a first pass or first shot that he missed, we're gonna go like this. We're gonna tell him pass the ball. How this kid can grow up,
yes.
So it will be every time a cooperation. It's too easy to tell him it's about you. Convince me that I'm wrong.
And did you look at other Polish team signings this off-season? Who impressed you the most?
For sure, I'm impressed about two things basically. First, the level of the first teams. We can say Legia, Anvil, we can say Szczecin, we can say Slonsk. They are building teams, Sopot. Those teams. From the other side, without putting one name there, I think there is just a big balance. I was not used to. Usually, in my experience in Italy, you have at least 3 groups, more or less. Here I can find very good team with a roster that you see, more experienced, physicality, toughness, IQ. And then I can see a lot of teams that we will fight for one place. Then with 2 more wins, you can arrive 5th. With 2 more losses, maybe you find yourself 13th. So I cannot find one team that, okay, this guy is gonna be last one. It's even I don't want to approach this new journey. To me, I want that for my team has to be the same, to play against Legia or to play against Gliwice. It has to be the same thing. I don't care if they are champion. I respect that and they deserve it. Okay, last year was amazing what they did. But we need to be hungry to go there to win. Or on the opposite, it's not that because, now I use Gliwice was not champion last year, we say, okay, we are Dziki, we're going to win. At the end of the day, this is a club that made play-in. How many playoff we won as a club into the last year? 0. So we need to deserve that. To deserve that, we need to make something special. To make something special, you need to win. Gliwice win is one win. Legia win is 1 win. So counts the same.
Yes.
This is the mentality that I want to transfer to the team.
And at the end, because we talk a little bit about the mental health, about this separating this coach life and private life, but how is what is Marco Legovicha outside of basketball? Do you have hobbies or passion? What you do to not to think about basketball?
In that very short time, I like a lot, but this is more on the day offs. If I can, I love to go walking to the nature. I love lakes, for sure. I know the north part of Poland is great, so for sure I will go there sometime. I love to walk and to breathe, a bit. I love to discover new things, so now enjoying Warsaw, for example, even discovering different angles, different even stupid things. I want to try this spot for a coffee and working there, try to feeling at home, away from home. If not, it's just staying with my girlfriend, just watching Netflix, having a good dinner, maybe going out, or staying with people, talking, very easy things. I'm pretty easygoing and trying to maximize my time, and even sometimes, just relaxing at home is not such a bad thing in a world that is going super fast. I love to not to stay home, but to enjoy, staying home and just feeling at home with my girlfriend or my family. It's one thing that helped me to recover and then restart.
A part of staying healthy, what I can wish to you?
To win a lot of games.
So I wish you this, and I thank you so much, grazie mille, for joining my podcast. It was a great pleasure to hear your story, hear your thoughts, and I wish you, your family, your team all the best.
Dziękuję bardzo. Was such a pleasure for me. Even those talks are important to me, to know more people and to have connections. It's very important, and it was great to be part of your project.